right, guys, welcome to Tinfoil Hat live from the WiseWolf Gold and Silver Studios. That's right, Wolf Pack Gold. Go to Sam Tripoli .gold and use the promo code Tinfoil, and you too can get on the Press Mails game for as little as $50 a month. We thank him for sponsoring this show. As we hurl towards the 1000th, very excited. A lot of stuff going on here. Real quick, we're a couple things are going on. We're working on the after party for the 1000th. We'll let you know where that is. If it's an after party or meetup, we're working on schematics right now. We'll get into that. Very excited to have our next guest on. Last time he was on, it was absolute fire. So we know he's going to be nothing but bangers. He is from the 6G Agenda. Please welcome Andrew Clinton. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Sam. I'm great. Thanks for having me back. Super excited to be back on.
That's a fire hat, dude. That is a fire hat.
Yes, sir. I think they may have started. Yeah, they may have started in Missouri, where I'm at.
Really?
Springfield, Missouri. Yeah, Springfield, Missouri.
It lines up. It lines up. I love that hat. Good year, 1972. Last time the Knicks won. Sam Tripoli was born. Bass Pro. Come on, dude.
That might be about to change.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah. Let's see, dude. So Andrew, you were on before. It was a great episode. For those who were not familiar with your last appearance, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you?
Yeah. I'm everywhere anybody gets their platforms. You can find me 6G Agenda. That's my channel. We do a lot of live shows on YouTube, kind of weekend warriors. We'll do like 3-4 shows over the weekend. And other than that, yeah, you can find me 6G Agenda for my handle on social media. I get pretty wild on X, and that's about it.
I took X off my phone. I'm no longer, I'm on X on my laptop, which I'm not on unless I'm podcasting or uploading episodes, but it's off my phone. And it's so funny because I started jonesing for it. I was jonesing for the screaming and shouting.
What's jonesing? I don't know what that is.
That means I was
What?
like,
Really?
Yeah,
That's so
I don't know.
interesting.
I was like thirsting for it.
Okay,
I
okay.
was like,
Old school word for fiending.
Yeah, fiending. It's like when
Yes.
you're like drug addicts jones for drugs. So I was just like, oh, I'm missing that action. And then I just realized it's just bots and stupid people.
It's so many more bots than you could ever imagine, I think, is what's happened.
It's like very rarely do you get yelled at by a person with a normal profile pic and a normal name.
No.
It's like some Japanese anime with Johnny 429557867.
Yes.
You're the biggest idiot. I hope you die. You know, it's like, okay, bot. We
Yeah.
gotcha. It's just stupid. And after this election, I'm just out.
Oh, my God.
I am out. The level
There's so
of
many.
dumb to believe this is real. And these are the same people that believe that like COVID, believed in the vaccines safe and effective, Russiagate, Hillary beat Bernie Sanders. I'm Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders. Yeah. Just every dumb thing. Hunter Biden's laptop wasn't real. Biden's daughter's diary wasn't real. Like everything that they got wrong. Now they're gaslighting us that this election is fair and balanced. It's actually ridiculous. But anyways, interesting times, Andrew. Interesting times. What do you want to get into?
Yeah, X is a major propaganda machine. And honestly, you're kind of talking about some things that I did want to get into, and that's something that I've kind of coined the term ExposureGate, which I've recently found that some people were using that term back in 2020. But either way, I'm still coining it again. And but it's more about the deep state exposing itself as a problem, reaction, solution, the classic revelation of the method in order to get us kind of to accept an AI government or just accept a new system in general by just thinking, you know what, this one's just got to burn, which we're seeing a lot of that rhetoric now. And I think that some of it's kind of verifiably just put there to get us. My whole theory with it is that the conspiracies themselves may have been formulated so that way eventually they could be used for this useful purpose.
Yeah, that fits under nonlinear warfare too. Like they set us up and then they show both sides and both sides think they're right. I mean, this election's a perfect example of nonlinear warfare. Both sides are convinced they are correct and they have enough data on both sides that they can just scream and shout at each other. So this is the perfect psyop, this election. The perfect psyop. And it's just driving people nuts. and the smugness of the left is just unbearable.
Did you go through that Reddit thread I sent you the other day?
No, I just can't read it, dude.
But the thing about Reddit, most of those people I think are real, and they're just thousands of people just like happy that just saying the nastiest things about that guy and like, oh, fuck off back, because he said he might leave town if he lost. And we're talking about Spencer Pratt, by
California?
the way. Yeah, we're talking about the mayor's race and the governor's race, and it's just all real people who think it's real. And are happy, very happy that we have no people to choose from except for the people most responsible for the city being in the state it's in. Those are the two people they gave us to choose.
Did you guys go through their I mean, I'm not saying social media means who wins or who dictates anything, but if you go to Spencer Pratt's Instagram and then you go to Carol Bass and you look at the likes, Karen Bass, you look at the likes and the comments, we're talking like 20,000 to 1,000. How does that represent that she wins?
This Raman chick didn't even win her own district.
No, and it's funny. The people, those are the only people that are negative in that thread, are the people who are in Raman's district. They're like, well, maybe we can get her out of CD4 if she becomes mayor.
That's crazy, dude.
That was like a whole thing that people in CD4 were like, kind of like, well, you should vote for her because then she won't be in our district anymore.
What I don't want to stay in this much longer because we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
but
it's pretty local.
It's like, so Karen Bass that day came in at 34%.
That's insanity.
Spencer Pratt came in at 30%. Raman came in at 22%. So they called it for Bass at a 4% lead over Spencer Pratt. They wouldn't call it for Spencer Pratt when he was leading by 7 to 8 points.
Because they've done this before. They did it in the last against Caruso.
So the question is, how do they know who the ballots are coming in for? They should know.
The news is always just like, that's just how it is.
Yeah,
in California.
No, even MSNBC's like, this is kind of weird that these mail-in ballots always go to put the Democrats over the top. So they literally said that.
Well, it's not even the Democrats, though, because Karen Bass is a Democrat. It's just the one that's most convenient for them who's getting the votes this time. You know
no, it's like, you want to ensure that either your person gets in, and both of them are their person.
Well, and she had just, that's what I'm saying, but it's not, you can say a Democrat, but like which one? You know what I mean? It's not, it's even more insidious than that.
Well, if you're the Democrats, if you have two Democrats running, then it's like.
No, I'm saying it's worse than that, though, because in the world where it is just the Democrats, it would be split pretty well between the two of them. But it went so heavily Raman, who's the third choice.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
She had just endorsed Bass the week before she decided to run, dude.
Yeah.
What?
Final thing, Andrew. We'll get back to you. I feel like we're talking the whole time. This is a perfect scenario for Karen Bass because once Raman gets in, everyone's going to hate her.
Yeah, she doesn't have to campaign to the right either.
They're all going to hate her because they're like, you got forced in. You're not even supposed to be here, which will run everybody to Karen Bass.
What's the percentage difference between Karen and Raman?
I don't. It's got to be like 4 or 5 points.
Yeah,
maybe.
something like that. Yeah.
Stupid. Andrew, back to what we're talking about. So we just went off a tangent, but you're totally right, dude. Like, here's the thing. They are very much in control of perception. The only problem I have is like, I don't think it goes the way they think it's going to go every time. I think my opinion is it's like, have you ever tried to throw a party? Does it ever go the way you think it's going to go? I mean, it's just like the train barely stays on the freaking.
We're trying to
put together 1,000 episodes. I'm getting yelled at by my girlfriend.
Okay, but would you say it's 60? They get 60% of their plan done, 70? Because it's obviously not 100. If not, we'd be in COVID town right now.
I think what they get done is things that don't actually involve people, meaning getting us to do something. Like they're running the deficit up to 100 trillion. That doesn't involve us. So that's going smooth, right? They're just printing money left and right. But to getting us to believe in everything they want to do, like
Iran, bombing Syria.
Yeah. That doesn't seem to be going the way they want. And you could be like, well, that's part of their plan too. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. So yeah, I think you're right, Andrew. I'm going to shut up.
No, you're good. I think that they hedge their bets, which is a big thing. So like, for instance, with the 3 candidates in California, I mean, more than likely all 3 had some kind of aspect to controllability or incentivization to maybe, follow lobbyists towards either technocratic state or this anti-Semitic pro-Zionist kind of aspect. Because what I've been noticing is, like, for instance, because what you were just talking about, the elections, Thomas Massie's election recently, which was so obviously overthrown by a AIPAC donor. But a big part of this is like, well, whenever you look a little deeper, he's got a lot of weird ties with a billionaire named Jeff Yass. And Jeff Yass, he funded this University of Austin. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's like owned by Peter Thiel and Joe Lonsdale. It's pretty much a Palantir university. They bring guys in that have done really well in college, and they give them a free tuition, and they put them through this university. And, it's got connections to, like, Eric Weinstein. This is kind of like the dark enlightenment college, right? And so for me, I think that we kind of have two choices here in a weird way with a lot of these candidates, where there's the anti-Zionists who, for some reason, have these technocratic ties. And the thing is, if you know anything about the technology being brought forth, it's owned by the Zionists. So that's kind of a controlled opposition front. And then you also have the obviously pro-Zionist camp, right? So I think we're being kind of hit with two fronts here. And, the saviors, the white hats, always seem to have some weird connection that makes me pause.
I was talking about all the elections that that are easily known: George Bush, Al Gore, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders. Then the Massie one, and then this Nadia one, and it's like I've been saying this forever. You're either voting for a neocon Zionist or a progressive Bolshevik. I mean, this is the greatest example.
Ron Paul got fucked hard too. Yeah. I don't think he could have ever won, but he absolutely in the primaries.
Yeah. I mean, the exception isn't the norm, but yes, I agree with that, Johnny.
And I think the Bolsheviks have grabbed both sides, which I think we can kind of prove a little bit here today. Because we know that the Bolsheviks operate on the left. We can all agree on that, right? Transhumanist state, totalitarianism during the COVID situation, automatic authoritarian for polite society as their excuse, or your safety. And then on the right, we have kind of a different phenomenon going on, which comes out of this Dugan camp. Are you familiar with Alexander Dugan?
No.
Okay, so he's known as Putin's brain.
Yes! The mystic that everyone always meets with. Candace Owens just met with him.
Sorry, you cut out.
Oh, sorry.
You cut out here.
Are we here? Good. Okay.
Yep, you're good.
Candace Owens just went to Russia, and she spoke at some conference, and he was there.
Well, I thought they were going for a fishing trip.
Putin's brain was there?
Putin's brain was there on display. Like Nixon in The Simpsons. No, but
it was a family trip.
Wait, so he's like Rasputin or something? Is that
yes, he's the Rasputin.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Steve Bannon met with him. You remember we had that one
Heather Lynn.
Yeah, Heather Lynn was talking.
She sent me on this deep dive through that episode she did with you guys, and I put together a lot of puzzle pieces to this situation here. And honestly, everything I thought I believed has been thrown out the window, guys. So I'm kind of here in a weird place, to be honest.
All right, that's what I like. Let's shift some paradigms here.
Yeah. So, I was anti-Zionist. I still am. I think that it's obvious that there is a disproportionate control through the, Israeli state. When Trump first took office, it was kind of apparent to me that he instantly started to do things that made me think he's almost trying to out the Zionist in a weird way, where he's doing things to kind of show that he's with them, to almost show that they have more control than they should. Does that make sense? That's part of this ExposureGate kind of concept here. And so I'm like, is Trump doing that on purpose? Netanyahu and him grew up together. I know it. But there's almost an aspect, but then as you get deeper, Israel wants all of this exposed about themselves. I always say this, the Mossad wages war by deception. Do you think they forgot how to do that? Do you think you're just noticing all this Israel stuff because they don't want you to? This is not this is controlled exposure, because during the same time that they come out with a couple blacklists called Project Esther and the Canary mission. One of them was put forth by the, what is it called? Who are the people that put up that Project 2025? The Heritage Foundation? Yeah, the Heritage Foundation. So they put forth one of these, and what it is it's blacklists for anti-Semites online. So if you're talking, shit about Israel, That's why I think they opened the floodgates for people like Nick Fuentes, so that way they could get data on the people that follow him,
100
agree
flowers.
with him. Yes, dude. Yes. So this is a honeypot campaign. That's why people like Fuentes, who is an obvious closeted liberal that's over here, LARPing on the right for America first, just, all against Jews. But now he's changed his rhetoric. Now that the anti-Jew camp is so mainstream and the anti-Israel camp is, he's kind of backed off a little bit. And he's letting everybody else like Dan Bilzerian, kind of take those people and radicalize them to the next level, right? And that's the point, is if you want a technocratic police state that is kind of ran off of anti-Semitism, you need to radicalize people towards that place. Yeah, so I think that that's a big aspect here. And, I'll hear your thoughts on that before I get into the Dugan stuff.
No, I think again, they did 100 flowers in China. They said, hey, you guys can criticize the government. Just get your gripes out. So they did for like 100 days. And then once it was done, they round up all those people and off them.
I mean, I'm not, don't get me wrong. They're using truths to do this. So It's not like I'm saying, hey, the Zionists are good, or hey, Israel's actually the good guy. No, the crazy thing about this is I don't see a good guy in this whole scene here. The more I look, and it, I'm not. It sucks because I wish I could offer like this seems like I think the best thing is for people to do kind of what we're doing here and critically, look at everything, because we're gonna have to figure out our own plan. I don't think it's gonna come from anybody, that's
in Russia. It was called Operation Trust.
Yes, and that's QAnon. As we'll get into, QAnon, Operation Trust 2.0, led in by Bannon, and he worked at Cambridge Analytica in 2012. He was the VP there. And if you remember the whole data scandal, that came out in 2014. And so after Steve Bannon meets with Dugan, all of a sudden he's at Cambridge Analytica, and it seems like this plan they unveiled starts happening, where they're trying to get data on right-wing Christian nationalist type people. And you have the Epstein email with Bannon saying, hey, we can use 4chan to kind of radicalize and galvanize these people behind a cause. And so then you see QAnon come out, right? With 4chan and everything else. And that's after the Cambridge Analytica situation. And this kind of gave rise to Pizzagate. It gave rise to conspiracies becoming more mainstream. Notice that Pizzagate was kind of generated towards the Christians because it was all about eating babies and satanic rituals. It's true, but I'm saying notice how that's what came out,
That
right?
is the thing. It is true.
And as I say this, I know I have to keep saying it's true because I'm saying, look, they're guiding us to a place, but it doesn't mean that what they're doing, they're using truths to do it. But we have to be vigilant in where we're going, and because it's all about problem, reaction, solution. It's about our reaction. So what are we going to do about what they're showing us, the corruption, etc.? I don't want to hate on Rogan, but he talks about we need an AI president. If that's where we're going with this, the best place to go with that is say, look at all these humans that are so corrupt, they can't stop touching kids, they can't stop being caught up in, money schemes, etc. AI won't do that. AI is morally superior, so we kind of lead ourselves into that place.
Yes, dude. That movie I was telling you about, Johnny, with Chris Pratt on the AI.
Yeah, I remember you.
And it's really good, but like AI gets stuff wrong. And we talk about this all the time. Now you want to put these people as some omni leader? I mean, it's absolutely. And then you take out the ability to bring it like, hey, man, this isn't exactly what you think it is.
That theme is showing up everywhere in Hollywood now, too. It was in the Mission Impossible films. The last couple films were all about an AI malfunctioning. The new James Bond video game, which is huge, is all about an AI being deployed by governments and malfunctioning. Mm-hmm. And it's in that film you're talking about, which was meant to be bigger than it was. I think the reviews were just really bad, so it didn't succeed. But I don't why that's interesting, notable, right? That
predictive programming.
That it's more.
They're showing you the dark enlightenment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have heard that term, right?
Yes, yeah, we've talked about it.
Yes. Will you define it for people that aren't familiar with it?
Well, a lot of people have different definitions. They tie it to the acceleration. But I'll give you what I know to be the definition from Kissinger in his book Genesis, where he wrote this with the CEO of Google and somebody else, like Sergey and somebody else. Either way, in this book, they detailed something called the Dark Enlightenment, which is this phenomenon that's going to happen whenever we rely on a AI machine, learning program that can't do any, it can't sense our environment. So it can't do any scientific method kind of processing of our reality. So therefore, we have to kind of give into this program that's written to tell us about our reality. And that will lead to something called the dark enlightenment. And that's kind of what they describe, because we're off of information that's not full, right? So it takes out any kind of sensory of your reality. And you just go fully with whoever the programmer is and what he says your reality is becomes your reality, right? So this is, yeah.
So they want us to be talking about Israel because Israel is doing this and Israel is filming it and putting it out to get us to criticize Israel with the hopes of outlawing the criticism of Israel, thus FEMA camps and all that shit. Is that what you believe?
That's one aspect to it. Now, the other aspect to it would be the traditionalist movement kind of wins without, I guess, the anti-Semitic police state aspect to it, which I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a priest class again. It's going to be a spiritual hierarchy, as they call it, that's going to rule like old Atlantis with God kings or CEO kings, if you ask Curtis Yarvin. And that's just this idea of being ruled by a priest class. And that's what they want on both sides. It really doesn't matter.
And the priests are the techno leaders?
The Techno-Elites, yes. The Techno-Elites, who, by the way, have taken, mysticism and hardwired it, as you say, and they want to merge with these deities that they've been channeling to create this technology. There's this concept with Nick Land, and Nick Land's this, cyberpunk kind of accelerationist, and a lot of the O9A uses a lot of his stuff, and they have a lot of satanic. See, there's a lot of crossovers here. Michael Aquino, the Satanic Church, Temple of Set guy, he kind of wrote the whole thing for O9A. And then they are kind of causing an accelerationism of the end of Western society because people like Curtis Yarvin believe that democracy is doomed to fail. And so we need to actually accelerate the end of it. Well, Dugan loves that idea because he thinks the West needs to fall. So he goes, all right, let's merge up with the accelerationists. That's when you see MAGA absorb all of the tech bros in 2024. And so that is the accelerationist, the dark enlightenment movement coming in with the traditionalist Steve Bannon Trump camp, right? And they merge together. And so even though these traditionalists are acting separate, they are merged with the accelerationist dark enlightenment guys. So I'll explain this a little bit better because it's so many different crossovers, but I think it's one big movement.
What is the end goal?
The end goal is a technocratic police state.
And what does that look like to you?
Based on a biometric ID system with like the patent Microsoft 060606666, which is you can't buy or sell, right, in the Bible without taking the mark of the beast. Well, this patent happens to say that you will not receive your crypto or Bitcoin payment unless you meet the conditions, and you will have sensors in your body that judge if you've met those conditions or not. And then you will receive payment so you can buy, sell, and trade. So that is literally the prophetic beast system. Am I right? I mean,
but the SoFi kind of has that already. Johnny's been there where you can walk in the SoFi and they don't ask you for a credit card, nothing. You just grab something and you get charged.
Well,
and
Intuit Dome is even
that's even crazier. You sign up, you don't even have to show your ticket. You just walk right
everywhere.
in.
It's nuts. Right. You don't think they're going to use that?
That's different than what he's talking about. That's like taking something off a sensor, right? They are judging. What he's talking about is something inside you doing analytics. Yeah.
Yes,
and if your analytics don't match up, you can't make money. I mean,
this is where the internet
is insane.
This is where the Internet of Things comes in.
Face, the UPC code is your face now.
Yeah.
I mean?
But that's, I find it different than something planted inside of you, reading your biometrics.
But what if it does? What if they don't need anything inside you to read your biometrics?
Well, that's what he's saying. Yeah. That's what they want, though. Because
but you got to understand though, they want to be like God. They want to be able to count they want to know the numbers of the hair on your head. So they need to have all these systems in everything. Smart dust, which is little nano sensors, MEMS. They're called microelectromagnetic sensors.
Our saviors. And that's what they call. That's what they tell us.
Yeah, and so these things are going to be put everywhere to create a digital replica of God's creation. Because at the end of the day, these are Gnostics who want to become like the Most High, just like the first lie in the Bible. They want to become gods. I mean, it is really just prophetic in a weird way with the biblical stuff. But in reality, it's rooted in kind of this this Luciferian doctrine that kind of permeates everything from theosophy to Freemasonry to even Nick Land's whole idea of this hive mind where we're going to, merge with technology and become a new species altogether. And that's what singularity really is, by the way.
That is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, this is the 6G agenda. Like, whenever.
Do you think it's inevitable?
I think it is whenever people can't see that, there's both sides leading you to the same place. And if people can't hold two things in their head at once, like nuance, then yes, because that's something I'd noticed that a lot of people can't do. Like if I say, look, Massie's, he's got a little funding from this guy who's totally plugged in with the technocrats, who, by the way, have been killing Gazans. So how is he anti-Zionist? I'm kind of confused here. And then they go, oh my, what? So you just want, and so it's like I have to be on one side or the other. It's like, you need to be able to take two thoughts and hold them in your head at once in order to fight this thing, because they're coming from both ways. Sometimes all three.
Guys, there's been a lot of talk about AI, digital currency taking over, but the one thing that will always be there for now and to the end of days, precious metals. And even when everyone's running the digital, when they start bringing in their digital ID currency, precious metals will reign supreme. And that's why I want to tell you about our good friends at Wolfpack Gold. That's right. WiseWolf Gold and Silver. Let me tell you about WiseWolf Gold and Silver. If you're paying attention, you know that de-dollarization is real. Fiat is fake, and you don't want to be left holding the bag when the dollar collapses. Gold and silver has been money through all of recorded history and are an excellent way to protect yourself from inflation and geopolitical turmoil. That's why I trust my friends at WiseWolf Gold and Silver for all things precious metal. Veteran-owned and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. No transaction is too big or too small, and you can even roll over your 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver. And if you think you can't afford precious metals, think again. With the Wolfpack monthly membership program, you can get gold and silver delivered directly to your door for as little as $50 a month. WiseWolf Gold and Silver also deals in and accepts Bitcoin. So go to samtripoli.gold, promo code tinfoil at checkout to receive free constitutional silver. And remember, in the world of bulls and bears, be the wolf. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about this exciting new sponsor we have. We're so excited that the ASPCA is sponsoring the show. Listen, if you've ever found yourself awake at 2 a.m., phone in hand, Googling things like, is this normal for a dog, or do I need to call a vet right now? You're not alone. Those moments of panic come with pet ownership, and they're exactly why the ASPCA pet health insurance exists. It helps take the financial question out of the equation, so when when something feels off, you can focus on getting your pet the care they need instead of stressing over the cost.
When you enroll in the ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Plan, you could get a $25 Amazon gift card. It's a little treat for you while you're doing something great for your pet. The program offers customizable accident and illness plans, making it easier to get your pet the care they need. It's been around almost 20 years and has covered nearly 1 million pets in that time. You can tailor your plan to fit your budget, your lifestyle, and your pet's particular quirks, because big vet bills never show up when it's convenient, do they?
To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/tinfoil. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/tinfoil. Eligibility restrictions apply. Visit aspcapetinsurance.com/Amazon terms for more information. And we thank them for sponsoring our show.
This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance.
You got a neocon Zionist or a progressive Bolshevik. They're the same thing. It's like, what is presentation? They're just how they present to you and who they're playing to is basically, it's the same thing. And as I listen to you, I go, oh, dude, this is why this election is so bad. This is why. They want it to be bad. They want you to believe it doesn't work.
Give up.
They want you. And dude, I'm out on voting. I mean, congratulations, you got me. I'm out. I mean, it's really, literally a waste of time. And then, the Republicans are like, we're going to send somebody out there to sit this straight and nothing will get done.
Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing will get done. And that's part of it. No trust of your leaders.
And then
I mean, you're in LA, California. So, I mean, obviously you have if I was to say this for you, it'd be different. But obviously for most people, they have smaller towns. You could probably operate on a local level and get some success. I think with LA, obviously you're in a different beast over there. So, you trying to get control of your politics over there is a little different than, say, a Missouri town where, if you got a data center coming in, you can rally your town against it, right? A little bit more successfully on a local level.
But it's also we're drowning in trust fund kids who want to live that, Sex in the City life, right? And it's impossible for them to go against. You can get a pop here and there of someone who can go against authority or go against the hive mind. But outside that, they just can't do it.
And the thing they've done that's amazing, in the way they invert ideas and like they've taken the people on the left here in this city. When they hear the federal government's coming to town, normally for people like us, normally that's a bad thing. Like we wouldn't want higher authority, federal authority interfering with a state election, or even a municipal election.
That is it, John.
And they've twisted it now that they've gotten.
We're begging for it.
Yeah, we're begging for it.
Please come in, and it's like very crazy to me because like I believe in state rights.
Yeah,
I think state rights should trump federal rights. But if the state is acting out of pocket, like, what do you do at that moment?
Burn it.
But think about it. You can overthrow a state level with the militia way easier than you can with the federal level. So if only the feds are running everything, then you go ahead and try to galvanize against, the DEWs and the nukes and shit they have. But when you're operating against a local level, and your mayor's fucking around and he's taking money from the data center guys and, whatever, that's different, right? I think that we have more of a chance on a local level is my point, if we're going to save everything. Because at the end of the day, where is America? Can you point to it on a map? Can you pick up the dirt at it? Like, can you do that? Not really. I mean, at the moment you can, but as soon as you take the Constitution and Bill of Rights out of the equation, you shred, burn, or tear that, you've now shred, burn, and tear the whole concept of America, and we could be subjected to a dystopian North Korean style or China style technocratic police state anytime. And that's what they want, is throw away your rights.
100% this Carmelo Anthony thing where they're just filming the biggest crazies saying the most insane shit.
And that's a perfect case too, because you have the idea of a stand your ground law in Texas where, look, if you're being, assaulted, you could do that, right? And then also, I guess at his school, he can have a pocket knife. So technically that was okay too. And then on top, and then he still goes to prison. So the whole idea is black people are going, well, wait a minute. If that was a white kid and there was, two black kids, and he stabbed the black kid, he wouldn't go to jail. And so it's
what
kind
do we
of a
call
perfect
that hypothetical?
What
when
do you mean
they're
by
like
that?
A white kid stabs a black kid. Is that hypothetical?
Yeah, right.
Let's just make up something that's never happened before.
Right, but that's what they're saying. That's their justification is, look, we have these laws. Stand your ground. It says he can have a pocket knife at school. Look, this other kid pushed him. So therefore, according to these laws, he should be let out and he shouldn't go to prison. That's what these people are saying. And they're saying if a white kid did the same thing to a black kid, then he would be out.
Well,
just trying to say that the court system works better for.
I get your argument, and
I'm not saying that.
No,
I'm not saying they're right.
What you're saying,
yeah.
But it's absolutely ridiculous
It
is. Because I watched this show on this YouTube video from this civil rights lawyer, and he was like, the to defend yourself is very specific. Like a big thing they tell you, if you shoot a warning shot, that's not good for you. If you're like stand your ground or like defending yourself.
Yeah, needs to be heat of the moment.
Yeah, right. So like there's a lot of stuff going into this that just it's like he's in the wrong tent. Why is there is the track meet at his school where he can carry a knife? Mm-hmm. And, the thing is, it's like everybody there was like, no, dude, he was way out of pocket. But it's the perfect argument. And they're just trying to set it up for another George Floyd. They're trying to set up for another O.J. Simpson situation.
And they have it also in Europe, the perfect mirror of it right now.
Yep,
with that,
I was going to say that
which
next.
is the exact opposite.
Yep.
So do you guys remember when George Floyd happened. All of a sudden, European versions of it were popping up.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but I think it's worse.
And this is part of the. Sorry.
No, I would say I think it's worse with Chud the Builder. If he goes out because it's two things where obviously it's freedom of speech, but it's standing
It's
ground.
not freedom of speech, dude.
No, I'm just saying. No.
But it's
I agree.
not.
No, but what they're saying, he's defending his freedom of speech and then
But
standing
he's
ground.
not defending his. Listen, I'm just correct. I'm not
Okay, go.
yelling at you. I'm correcting you. The misnomer is that this involves freedom of speech. This does not involve freedom of speech. He's mistaking, and all the idiots are mistaking this belief of freedom of expression is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is he says it, and the government comes and arrests him for saying it. That's freedom of speech. Someone coming up to you and punching you in the face because you said something they don't like. That's nothing to do with freedom of speech.
No.
That's the government arresting you for criticizing them and throwing you in jail for
It's
things.
still
you say.
illegal, to be clear.
No,
but
That
know,
makes
but-
Johnny's
freedom of
point. That
speech.
makes Johnny's point.
just
though,
dividing
because
us
if
up.
Chud the Builder gets out,
That was XG.
off-
You could tell.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Actually,
No, I was just saying that it's their defense. It's why
Yeah.
it's making us. It's why it's making this such a big deal because they're trying to stand their ground on one of them saying this and the other one's law. Like it's just
But
dividing us up.
But imagine this: this kid goes to jail for 30 years, and the black kid goes to jail, and Chud the Builder gets out. That's what I'm saying.
It's just dividing us. Yeah, it's finding a way for
that
for
would
one.
divide. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
And that's probably what it will happen. By the way, Chud's going to get out. He's a Freemason. I mean, his name's literally Chud the Builder.
Yeah,
and Chud,
dude.
Chud is Hebrew for like to pose a riddle or a dark riddle in Hebrew. So it's like, come on, dude, what are we doing?
And you could study the timeline of that, right?
Yeah,
So you have the roast. There's a bunch of racial chaos, and then the next day, Chud the Builder gets arrested. He meets with the FBI. By his own words, they go, "Are you going to shoot people?" He goes, "I pray every day I never have to use my gun."
So funny.
And then the next day he shoots somebody. And and again, you study it, they are perfect at picking things that'll piss off both sides, right? Like
Absolutely.
so like the guy that attacked him has like a criminal record. I don't know if it's extensive as they were trying to make you think, but he does have a criminal record. Chud the Builder's got some chaos in him. It's enough to piss off both sides, right? So now again, nonlinear warfare.
Yeah, it's what you said in the beginning. Everybody's got just enough to justify their argument on either side, right? You've got the racist white kid, so he was trying to attack the black kid first, and then you've got the stand your ground law. Why aren't we upholding the court system for blacks as like we are whites? You're exactly right there. But also this pushes towards with the Belfast situation, this traditionalist movement, which is kind of weird because it's almost like a globalist system that focuses on national interests, if that makes sense. So we want to get back to our American cultural white values. And so we need to get rid of everybody else. It's kind of where this goes, by the way. So it goes from I'm anti-Zionist to I'm anti-Jewish supremacist, JQ. We need to get rid of everybody that's not white and European white in America and get back to what our founding fathers wanted, which is a white nation. And that's what these people, like that's the logical conclusion for this movement here. And so you kind of have the justification for it, again, because of all the migrants they've flooded into every country. And then you have people fighting and killing each other. And that justifies this kind of JQ, this whole white supremacist movement that I'm telling you it's a color revolution that's going on right now, and most people don't know it. And this is this rise in racial warfare, essentially, and white nationalism.
I completely and utterly agree. We are in a Bolshevik revolution.
Yes.
And it's on both sides, and it's so funny because I mean I don't watch the news, so my news I got from Twitter. I don't have Twitter, and it's like I don't feel any of this right now. I know it's only a couple days, but still, like I'm starting to detach from all of it, and I'm like Bill Hicks' joke. I go outside, the world seems fine, right? But you realize how much mysticism is in propaganda.
Is that good though? That's what I struggle with that, right? Is it better to know what's happening to you or not, right? And
But then the question becomes what is actually real and what is manufactured.
I know. Yeah,
so we had this debate on culture on the Contender series. I'm not going to give away much detail, but because there was this discussion that algorithms are our culture now. And I go, does that mean culture's real? And that's the real question. So when you're like, when you go, Johnny, I have to, do you know what's going on? But then I go, does anyone know what's going on? And is it real what's going on?
But what I mean is it better to grapple with it and try to understand, or just to check out? You know what I mean?
I don't know if I'm checking out. I'm just
that's what I'm saying. That's those be wanting to be like my family who just they don't watch. They might see the evening news at the end of the day while they're falling asleep. Couldn't care less. Just keeping their head down, working.
I go, why is it good to listen to the show? Because I want to know what tricks they're pulling on
I
us.
think I do too. Yeah,
that's what I want.
You got to touch grass, though. You got to,
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have a balance, and a big. By the way, let's talk about what is real then. Israel. Israel is, with the merging of the U.S. military. We know that that's kind of real. But then at the same time, we had the Pentagon come out and say that Israel is at a critical level for espionage with the counterintelligence for the Pentagon. So explain to me how we have a bill that's going to merge the military together, but then we also have the military saying, hey, those guys are a problem.
Yeah.
What are we doing? So that's part of that ExposureGate kind of aspect to, hello, wake up. Are you noticing yet? And that's kind of what I'm saying, where it's like they want that noticing. Not to say it's not justified, because you have 37 states that have adopted the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism.
Everyone's worried about Sharia law, and they're not worried about Noahide laws.
Well, that's the thing. We get one or the other. Because then you have a Sikh Muslim student that can take their knives to school in Massachusetts right now that just passed. So we have both sides going on, where Sharia law is going to be the other side of the Noahide aspect. So that's our dichotomy we get to choose from. And that really sucks because, a lot of this traditionalist movement is also led in by Muslims. Like there's this one guy who is posing as a white Christian, but he's actually like a Muslim from Canada who got busted for super spreader parties during COVID, if you remember those. He had a $1 million like condo in Vancouver that he had a full club going on in, and he got arrested for it. And they tried to charge him with manslaughter because if somebody got sick with COVID, right? That's how crazy Canada is. And I think this guy got controlled. He was a major money financial guy. He had like $1 million condo, a big lawyer brother, and now he's on X on Spaces, radicalizing white Americans into hating the Jewish state. Not to say that the Zionist state isn't good. Who is it?
Who are you talking about?
This guy's name's Truth Teller. His real name's Muhammad. It's like something Muhammad. But yeah, so there's like provably a color revolution going on X, like through these X spaces, where the most noticing is going on X when it comes to the Zionist Jewish situation, right? And that's ran by Elon, the dark MAGA guy, who's connected with the Traditionalist and Accelerationist movement. So again, we have like that connection there. And yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of that going on with faceless X accounts that aren't even
the
really
bots
American.
Destroyed it. The bots have destroyed Twitter, and maybe they wanted that. Now, my question to you does it ever get away from them? Like, how much of this is completely controlled, and how much is it like it got away from them?
I think right now we've got, since Trump took office, it is fully controlled. Do I think it would have been different with Kamala? I have no idea. I doubt it. And that's the problem. So have they lost control? I don't know. I don't know when the last time that they haven't had control. I think it's always been a slow roll. It's always been micro adjustments based on the reaction of the masses. And so, we need to press a little harder on this propaganda. We need to flood in a little more migrants over here. These guys could use some radicalization. So it's always micro adjusting to get to the goal of where you're trying to get, which is a one world government ran by a technocratic police state. So
let me ask you something. Is it really the Jews, or do we have levels above that? Like, to me, there's one group that has destroyed every country it's ever infected, and that's the Bank of England. And then when you go above that, who runs the Bank of England, the 12 family or the 13 families and all that. But it's like, it's like if you look at every moment of the creation of Israel, the Bank of England is the driving force of it. The Bank of England destroyed India. The Bank of England destroyed China. The Bank of England destroyed Russia. The Bank of England destroyed Germany. and they're full court pressing right now in America. And it's very easy to get angry at the Bergs and the Steins and all that, because that's just presentation. You know, yes, are they in positions of power? 100%. But are they the masters of mankind, or is it above that? And I just feel that, like, if you look at all these sovereign nations, right, they're all connected to the Bank of England almost. It's you know, it's like the Bank of England took over the Vatican, the Bank of England, the Bank of International Settlements, which is just a satellite bank of the Bank of England. You know, now we just watched something on doom scrolling yesterday about Lake Havasu. And then you know how the connections to the British Royals, and you know when Ron DeSantis tried to take over Disneyland, and how they basically used the King of England to shield themselves, like they're actually like connected to the King of England, so there's some eminent domain or some shit like that. It's like kind of crazy to me, dude.
And they're trying to do that with Havasu?
I guess Lake Havasu in Arizona is a sovereign nation.
Like Disney, yeah, like how.
No, but Disney is, but Lake Havasu, there's islands or something there that are technically not a part of Arizona. And you cannot, there's no, the U.S. government does not run it.
You know, there's also, do you know about the bridge in Lake Havasu? How this is just a fascinating, it may be related, may not be related, but the old London Bridge, the guy from Lake Havasu like bought it and just brought it to Lake Havasu and rebuilt it there.
That is so crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's weird, right? So,
well, in the Bloodlines of the Illuminati book, it lays out that the Rothschilds run the Bank of England, and also run the Vatican's financial situation. So, I mean, you could look at the Rothschilds, who also had a lot to do with the Nazis and the Zionist movement to Israel with the Havar Agreement. So I think that you're exactly right with, like, is it the Jews or is it this kind of system above it? Well, yeah, it's the Babylonian banker, the Anglo
100%.
Absolutely, you're right. But right now, the scapegoat, if you will, is the Jews. Why is that? Well, Courtney Turner is a good researcher who kind of has been pointing out to me that a big reason why they may want to point out specifically the Jews through this Zionist problem is, and not to say there's not a weird disproportionate amount of Jewish people that are doing some fuckery, but, also who were the ones that were enslaved in Babylon? And we're talking about the Babylonian kind of magic blood rituals. So I think a lot of that is kind of, went on through their
Are you saying
system.
Jews?
Yeah, they were enslaved in Babylon, and they, that's where they got their Talmud from, was there, where they started mixing kind of their belief systems with the Babylonians.
Yes,
and then
dude.
Since then, you have this kind of evolution from Khazaria outward towards the European area, and that's why we have these Polish European like Nazis who are really Zionists today, but they're no different than before. So we kind of have this crossover, and the genius thing to do is kill a bunch of Jews and then become Jews, or pose as Jews. So that way, you could be the victim society later whenever you're running everything and trying to usher in a one world government with your system. So point being, the Brotherhood of the Dragon, which is tied to, King Charles, etc., is probably the real system behind this, the power behind this. But, when we're talking about the Nazis and how it's kind of progressed to now, and it's probably one group of people, you can kind of prove that a little bit. Like Prescott Bush, he was in the Skull and Bones, right?
Yeah, dude. I just watched a whole video on this. That's insane, dude. It's insane.
Yeah. He worked with the Nazis for a little bit. He talked to the Thiel Society over there.
His bank.
And then he funded through the Deutsche Bank the Bolsheviks and the Nazis. And so what's weird about that is you have this Skull and Bones tie with the Nazis. You have his son who is quoting Hitler, right? H.W. Bush talking about a new order of the world, 1,000 points of light. And then fast forward a little bit. You have a Skull and Bonesman, J.D. Vance, who's being recruited by a guy who moved from Germany during World War II. His dad was a chemical engineer, possibly for the Nazis, named Peter Thiel. who comes here and it's like it's like the second generation of this skull and bones Nazi movement. And who's Peter Thiel plugged in with? No other than Elon Musk, the grandson of the technocrat. And they, of course, start PayPal together. And then that's where Palantir gets formed through this cybersecurity system that they created and coded in their PayPal business. And that's where Palantir, left. And then because of the Patriot Act, we had the total information awareness system get built within our government. That is what Palantir is, total information awareness, all the data aware, put together in one system. So that would be your flock cameras. That would be your geospatial institute. That would be the Golden Dome that's being built, Starlink, etc. And eventually it's going to be the Internet of Bodies, Internet of Things to build this biometric beast system that I've been describing. It's a Nazi movement. Yeah, it's a Nazi movement.
Well,
By the way, what did the Nazis want? To bring back the Aryans. The Aryans ran Atlantis. This is a new Atlantis, just like Francis Bacon. You know about that.
I don't know anything about that.
You wrote it. No, I'm just kidding.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Well, yeah, who isn't? That's why you need testosterone. You want to get jacked. You want to have fun. You want to get chicks. One way only, testosterone. And the best place to get it is Mars Men. Let me tell you about Mars Men. Doctors act like TRT is no big deal. Just weekly shots for the rest of your life. Cool. Then you go deeper and realize what you're actually signing up for. $3,000 a year to shut down your body's natural production forever. That's terrifying. The fertility thing really got me. What if I still want to have kids, right? I mean, XG wants to have kids. He needs that tee up, bro. That's why I love Mars Men. Mars Men gives you the same benefits of optimized testosterone, energy, strength, focus without shutting down your body. No synthetics, no needles, no dependency. It's like hitting the reset button on your hormone factory instead of shutting it down. Just real natural ingredients like
Tongkat Ali, Shilajit, zinc, boron, and more.
that support healthy T-level stamina and recovery. Finally, found something that gives me the benefits without all the scary long-term stuff. All right. So I love it. I take it. So here's what we're doing there. Mars Men is made in the USA and third-party tested. They got a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Worst case, you don't absolutely love it and you get your money back, okay? But over 91% of users report higher energy levels. Thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. Just check out the reviews on the website to see for yourself. So here's what we're doing. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and free gifts when you check out. After your purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Guys, listen, everything's getting more expensive, but what if I told you you could get cash back? All right, and that's why you have to hear about our good friends at Upside. Let me tell you about Upside. Gas, groceries, eating out, even on the tightest budget, there's no escaping them. But here's what you can control. Getting cash back every single time you fill up. Hit the grocery store or go out to eat with the Upside app.
The free Upside app gets you cash back on gas, groceries, and dining. Those big 3 things that are always draining your wallet. And here's how it works. You just open the app, claim an offer, and pay with your card like normal. Then you get paid. It's that simple. It's incredibly simple. Wouldn't you agree, Sam?
I agree.
And yes, it's cash back, not points you'll never use or credits that will eventually expire. It's cash back, money you can transfer straight into your bank account. That's not marketing speak. Independent studies confirm that Upside users earn significantly more than traditional rewards programs. Over 100,000 participating locations means once you start checking the app, you realize how often there's an offer right where you're already going. Users earn $1 million in cash back every single week. And unlike with other programs, you can stack Upside with your existing credit card and loyalty rewards.
Dude, Hall Pass Ice Cream? Get out of here, dude. That's amazing. I love that place. It's one of my favorite ice cream places. And you get 6% back. Come on now, dude. That's amazing. Upside is giving back $1 billion to its users. To find out how much you can earn, download the free Upside app and use promo code TINFOILHAT to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using the promo code TINFOIL, and we thank them for sponsoring the show. Yeah, dude, I wrote that shit. I love that. I got to call my mom and tell her she gave birth to Francis.
You should give her a t-shirt.
I gave birth to Francis Bacon. I got to make that shirt and put it on my mom and take a picture of it, dude.
That's funny.
So I watched this video. It's a really great breakdown from Eyes Wide Open. It's a YouTube channel, and it's a really great video. Sometimes when I do these deep conspiracy rewinds, I don't know what video I'm watching, and halfway, 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh, this is hot dog shit. You can tell, Johnny, when they just use an AI to put the video together.
Oh, it's the worst, yeah.
I've had a couple where I'm like, I got to stop this. This is dog shit. This guy's research is fire, dude. Fire, dude. And it's like, old banking families, but at the reality is like this skull and bones is like at the center of so much shit. And you go, well, who created them? Well, British opium families. The British opium families founded all of the Ivy League schools, every single one of them. They were founded by drug money, dude. And then this specific group at Yale was created to give the elites a head up on everybody when they graduate college. They would get a fat sum of money when they left so they could hit the ground running, and they had all the connections. All the skull and bones go into the highest levels of power, to the point that there's a group. Have you guys ever heard of the Presidential Intelligence Advisory Board? Nobody knows about this group.
Nope.
It's completely unregulated, and it's basically all the skull and bones. They are basically what it's presented as is they help the president digest and understand the intelligence. But what it really is they're calling all the shots.
They're the priest in the ear of the king.
Yes, they are the priest in the ear of the king.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
And that is skull and bones was there.
Yeah, and that was the symbol for the pirates. And Manly P. Hall, if you read his work, a great Freemason, he talked about how the pirates were Masons. So there's no difference here that we're talking about, right? The Knights Templars with the the money and the banking, they also became the Masons. So that's all the same thing here that we're talking about.
It's really incredible, dude, how deep it fucking goes. So you bring up Prescott Bush. So when the OSS was dissolved, Alan Dulles took all the best spooks and put them in an office at Prescott Bush's bank that he was running. That was where the OSS had kind of went and hid until the CIA came, and then they just plugged them all in. And then the CIA just became the skull and bones, who are basically the security detail of the rich.
Yeah.
Their whole job is to stabilize these giant banks' investments, destabilize places where they want to invest in, and just basically cause chaos and get us all to fight with each other with the Carmelo Anthony. It's unbelievable to me that the Carmelo Anthony thing is actually a thing. It's pretty straightforward, in my opinion. And it's now a psyop that has everybody fighting with each other. And who knows how many of them are real people. But this is all AstroTurf. All of it is AstroTurf to get us not to pay attention to what's going on at the top. Now, there's this movement to, first of all, AI isn't doing what they thought it was going to do, right? And I'd like to hear everyone's opinion on this. It's way more expensive than they thought it was going to be. It's not getting the job done. Everyone's pushing against these AI data centers, which are not data centers, they're surveillance centers, right? It's like, and why do you have to have a data center twice the size of Manhattan in Utah? What's going on in Utah? That you need all that surveillance. Yeah. So
are they not doing what they want them to do then? If you know what I'm saying? Like, is that bullshit?
What do you mean?
Well, they sold this, the AI grift, as I call it, is all about this idea that your life's going to be more convenient, universal basic income, you won't have to work. And then now Sam Altman comes out and says, look, it's not going to replace millions of jobs. It's just not what it's going to do.
Because it's the blowback.
Well, that, and also it's not about replacing your jobs. It's more about a surveillance state. It's more about controlling and tracking and knowing where you're at and what you're doing at all times. And once they get in this tokenization of everything, which is where everybody owns a piece of everything and nobody owns anything and everybody's happy, like the WEF says, then you can't really do anything about this system when it's in place. So they're draining and looting the country, destroying the dollar while they build this system. They're selling us dreams, and then now they're going to yank the carpet out under us and just put us under this technocratic AI system that's really just a police state. It's an open air prison just like Gaza. And so that was kind of the whole thing over there, was kind of the practice run for this. Now we have drones in every town. The police are doing deals with all these automatic flock drones. And then you have the flock cameras everywhere. Nobody knows what the Geospatial Institute is, but that is, counterintelligence program that works with Palantir and all these systems to grid everything so they can know exactly where anybody is. The guy who runs it literally said you won't be able to hide. So it becomes Skynet, right? And so, I think that, 9/11 kind of got this started with the Bushes. And then, Trump, I always like to point out, was the 45th president, 47th. It's 9/11 if you do your Kabbalistic numerology. And here we are. He's going to finish what the Patriot Act started.
Yeah, I think that's the goal. I don't know. I maybe this is just the hope in me, but it seems to be that they can force you so far, and then people start going, no. So the question is, how far can they go before we get out of natural law, the basic way we live our lives? They seem very cool to everything until it goes to crazy town.
Well, it's like the data centers. It's cool till you affect the water, till I can't sleep because of the noise centers, till literally you're taking people's jobs. Like you said, as long as you give us a house and you give us things, we let you do whatever the fuck you want. But
give us adult films with plots now. I'd like to bring that back. I'd like a plot in my pornography.
AI is great for that.
Yeah, give us a plot, dude.
When people get to that breaking point, I think that's when they'll cue the UFO disclosure in real life.
Let's get into that.
Because that's whenever you kind of lay out this UFO disclosure and go, look, we're gonna have free energy, everything's gonna be free. So then you start another grift, right? This new grift of, hey, don't worry, we're gonna make a utopia. I know it's shitty now, but trust me, you're at your breaking point, but it's all good. Look at this. We just had these deities come down, and they're going to share all this, all this information with us. Anna Paulina Luna's calling for amnesty and for people to be protected that are involved with the UFO movement. I think that just protects the nefarious liars that are involved with the systems that are going to be coming out. And then, with the plasma scientists missing and dying recently, I think I kind of liken it to the Mayans back in the day, where they understood the eclipse. And so the sun would disappear and they would go, look, you got to sacrifice these children so the sun will come back, or, God won't let the sun come back. And they knew that it would come back, but obviously it was a manipulation tactic.
You're totally right, dude.
Well, what about this plasma science? You don't think they know how to manipulate plasma at this point? It's 99.9% of everything. You don't think they can manifest orbs in the sky? Why were the drones coinciding with the orbs in the sky? Do you not think that was maybe interplaying a little bit with science? Like, that they can manifest things that manipulate your mind and your reality? So I think the UFO at the UFC theory I have is not the craziest theory. If I back it up a little bit.
So let's break down real quick, set it up. Your theory is the possibility of a UFO coming during UFC 250 this weekend.
Possibly. I'll lay out why I think so. There's a lot of, obviously it's just a theory, but it could be a plasma orb or something like that, not necessarily a mechanical object. It's more sellable if there's like a transparent light being in the sky that you could show on TV. Think about it. They only have 5,000 people going, and they're all members of either the White House, invited specifically, or they're in the military. So there's no like outside viewers. So that's kind of weird. They're almost isolating it, just to add on to what I'm saying. So let's back up a little bit. Everybody's heard of the Babylon workings. A lot of people have, kind of theorized that Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard, when they did this ritual, a sex ritual with this woman, to create a moon child, that they left the portal open. And after this, we start seeing UFOs start popping up everywhere. And so what's weird to me is 3 months later, 3 for the Holy Trinity, that perfect number of 3 that they like to use symbolically. Well, 3 months later, they were trying to manifest the moon child. Well, Trump was born on a blood moon eclipse 3 months later.
What?
Yeah.
What?
And so, you know, it wouldn't matter if his life didn't become what it became, right? But if the whole idea is to create a moon child to usher in a new age, well, he's doing a pretty good job, isn't he? He's the chaos agent.
Dude, that's deep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think so. So
is Trump a moon child?
Well, his dad's middle name and grandma's middle name was Christ. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, dude. Look it up. I'm not lying. So, you know, his grandma's middle name was Christ. His father's middle name was Christ. I believe they changed it for Trump because it's a little bit too telling, you know, him being the agent of the possible Antichrist. Not that he's the literal Antichrist, but it's just, you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, there's a little bit to that, right? If the Babylon workings really brought in these UFOs and he was born 3 months later, you know, it's weird that on his birthday, we're having a UFC fight 2 days after this UFO Spielberg movie comes out. And it's on a Sunday instead of a Saturday. And UFC fights are always on a Sunday. And dude, think of the headline. UFOs at the UFC, right? You know, it just kind of goes together.
Dude, that is crazy. And have you ever seen pictures of Trump's parents? I mean, those are the 2 weirdest looking people you'll ever see in your life.
It's funny. They try to say it's pronounced Christ. It's Christ.
Christ.
It's spelled exactly the same way.
Like Christ, but that's how
spelled
we
the same
say
way.
it. Christ.
Yeah. And she has Germanic descent, so we're back to this kind of weird European Germanic. Like the Habsburgs have this plus ultra emblem on their shields, which is what was, by the way, this is where everything gets really crazy. So plus ultra was on the Straits of Gibraltar, which were the gates to Atlantis. So Atlantis keeps popping up because now all these crests for these different royal families have plus ultra on it. Well, lo and behold, at Mar-a-Lago, you'll find plus ultra all over the walls. And he's bringing back Atlantis. That's what is going on. Like the new Atlantis is coming. And what that is a spiritual hierarchy. If you read Alice Bailey's work, she says that a portal was ripped open during World War II, which lines up with this theory here. And that since then, we are merging with the astral realm where the spiritual hierarchy or the demiurge, the Gnostic gods are, and they're going to come here and synchronize with the initiates. And she says, many are called and few are chosen. And so only some people are going to be able to survive this. And it's going to be the initiates. And she says, you know, it may sound unfair that a lot of people will die, but let me remind you that this is one of many in the soul's long existence of life, right? So pretty much saying, like, don't worry, if you die, it's no big deal. You're going to ascend anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, because Ghislaine and Epstein were fascinated with Atlantis for some reason. Yeah, which, I mean, obviously the elite know something we don't, but
fuck
they love that
Giorgiani.
place.
Fuck Giorgiani. That guy that's coming out with all that stuff. He's right. I mean, he's telling the truth, but that guy, man, I can't stand him.
Who's Giorgiani?
He was on Jesse Mitchell's, and he's the guy who was talking about Ghislaine Maxwell being obsessed with Atlantis and how Epstein was studying DNA to bring the Nordics back and how it connects with the aliens and Atlantis. Kind of like I'm saying, and it's true, but Giorgiani also says that the Nephilim were actually the good guys, and they were here to, you know, to bring man up and enlighten him. So he's fully into this Gnostic camp. So again, these people that are telling us the truth are also involved with the same group that they're telling us about.
It's crazy, dude.
It's insane. It's controlled disclosure. All of it is. All of it is from people who are involved, and they're just telling you enough crazy shit to get you to believe everything else they say and go with them.
Whoa. That is some crazy ass shit, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited to tell you about some of this, dude, because I'm like out here fucking getting it. I'm like, man, there's a lot going on.
I mean, you won't have I really debate whether I want to watch this UFC fight. I really debating. I love the UFC, but there's just a lot of chaos involved in it right now, dude. It's like,
what do you mean? What are you worried about?
I mean, there's just like, they're not letting
it?
Sean Strickland there because
Yeah.
he's criticizing a foreign country.
Bootleg it. That's how you do it. Pirate it.
I mean,
it's on Peacock.
It's not free. It's free.
No, but it's still pirate, so they don't get the rating. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't count toward.
Yeah, but I'm still giving it my energy.
So
Yeah,
you think there's going to be something in it, like?
No,
that what you're saying?
I think that it is, it's just they're not allowing Sean Strickland there. They're not allowing anybody critical of Israel there. It's like, and again, it's like, again, if you look at Greater Israel Project, it's Babylon. It's literally the map of Babylon, with the Babylon going higher to the north. Like, it's sorcery, dude. We are literally you want to talk about disclosure? I mean, the UFO, okay, great. Babylon magic is literally being presented to us. This is where we're going to live now. This is the world we're going to live in. The sorcerers run everything. And it's so funny because you talk about the initiated. It's literally all autistic motherfuckers. We're literally like to ascend. You got to be autistic now, and they keep saying that. Oh, they're on a different level. Autistic people. Is this what they're talking about?
No, they literally. Actually, it's funny you just brought that up. Like this Dark Enlightenment camp, the accelerationist Nick Land. They say how schizophrenics are the closest to the next level of man, the next evolution man, because they don't have any of their programming. So if you don't have any of your programming, right? Your preconditioned belief systems, your preconditioned familial connections and empathy, your connection with your identity of self and your gender. That's why they want to mix all that up and get everybody confused about everything and deprogram your mind. If you look at the left, they've been saying that for a while. That leads into this. They want you to deprogram so that way they can put a new program in you, a new system, operating system, is literally how they describe it. And that is the hive mind singularity stuff.
It's so crazy, dude. It's so crazy. Again, you're like, well, why am I listening to any of this stuff? Well, it's like you have to know what's going on. And this is where it's going. And it's like what goes viral? It's like all this fucking chaos energy. Chaos energy goes viral.
And, Trump was called the greatest chaos magician by Marina Abramovich. And she said, in that interview, she said, it's not so crazy if you think about it. He's making everything kind of turn upside down so he can bring in chaos and establish a new order out of that chaos. And that's exactly what he's doing. If you look around, he's like acting like a nationalist, but doing everything a globalist would do. He's America first, but he's everything, Israel first. It's just an inversion of everything. And it's, the whole fifth degree of Satanism and MAGA and the connection there. And so he's just completely rallied the Christians behind a satanic movement to their own demise. And the UFC fight, at the very least, is, they just made it a diplomatic thing to do, sporting events, where it's diplomatic now. So in other words, it's like Colosseum and Roman kind of Colosseum kind of thing. So, and if you think about it, the first Super Bowl event he went to when he took office was at Caesar's Palace or whatever, Caesar's Dome. So it was kind of a weird symbolic kind of foreshadowing for what's going to come. And now we have diplomatic, fights at the White House.
It is crazy. And someone's actually trying to sue to stop it. Good luck with that.
For what?
Because they understand what we're saying. Like, this is like, you're going into Roman Colosseum level shit right here, and it's true.
Right,
I mean, it's true. That's what's going on.
Colosseum shit.
Yeah. He called it the golden age. Pax Romanus, Pax Americanus. That's where we're at, right?
Pax Americanus, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're totally into that. 100%. And it's like Steven Spielberg. Everyone's like, this is his greatest film yet. And you're like, I doubt it. But
yeah,
I mean, the darkness of that guy being allowed to operate.
Did you see he's pissing people off because he said he wrote the whole thing on his notes app on his iPad? Isn't that crazy?
Laurel Canyon guys at it again.
Yeah, it's really fucking nuts, dude. It's really crazy. Oh my God, we're just...
Yeah, I was doing a little deep dive for anybody that wants to check out my channel on this, because we obviously don't have time today, but we did, you kind of maybe have heard about the Psyops to Mind Wars written by Michael Aquino.
No, tell me about it.
Oh, okay. So Paul Vallely works at TPUSA, and he actually is the one who told Michael Aquino to write this book. They were both in the military together in Vietnam. And after they lost, Michael Aquino kind of describes in his book that they were pissed off. They didn't use their Psy War campaign as much as they should have. They used kinetic war, and then they came in with mind wars later, and it didn't quite work. So the idea is we need to shift over to mind wars first. That needs to be the first line of defense, is to, try to mess with the minds of our adversary. And so then he wrote this Psyops to Mind War. And later on, Paul Vallely's at TPUSA whenever the biggest mind war psyop in our generation happens. But that point aside, and Erica Kirk, her parents possibly are pictured with the wife of Michael Aquino in a picture at a satanic ritual, it seems. So what is that? What is that? You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yes, dude. I could show you, dude. There's like a literally the guy has the same. He's got the same face cut. Here, hold on. You could pull up on X. You could literally look up Lilith Aquino and Erica Kirk's parents.
Her name is Lilith?
Yeah. Yes, dude.
It's crazy.
And in his book, Mind Wars, here I could show you here. So in the opening of his book,
it's so crazy because in Christianity there is no Lilith, right? Right.
Kabbalah.
But it's these elites are all over Lilith, which makes you think it's real. The story.
Oh, yeah.
of Lilith, it's so funny. Adam was pissed because she wanted to ride on top. Like literally, she's like, can I get on top?
Yeah,
and he's like, I'm not gay. She's like, I just want to ride on top. He's like, no, I'm not gay. And then he went to God. He's like, bro, she wants me to be gay. I can't stand this shit. Give me a chick who would just do what I want.
How do you know what gay was? That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Johnny, stop fact checking. And then he gave her Eve, and if you listen to some of these people, they think Eve was just slinging pee all over the place.
And then they say that Lilith is that succubus. She's like a succubus. She comes around,
and then
still
you get
gets
into Lilith fair. Like you want to get into the psyop of feminism. Lilith fair.
What's that?
Lilith fair was this famous concert.
Feminist concert series.
It was just all female bands.
Oh, the
like
fair.
Tori Amos.
Oh.
Yeah. What?
Oh no, he pulled up that.
Whoa.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Come on, dude. Look at that facial hair. And then look at the lady next to him that looks just like her mom. And that's Lilith Aquino with the black hair on the right.
Whoa.
What is he wearing?
I mean, uncanny. Now this kind of gets into this weird place. So I've been doing a deep dive with William Ramsey about Mind War.
We love him.
Yeah.
He's great. I've done like 10 shows with him. He's awesome. But me and him figured out the whole Paul Vallely connection with Michael Aquino and how he works at TPUSA together. So whenever I found out that he wrote 3 books, Mind War, Mind Star, and Find Far, I was like, yo, we got to do a deep dive on all these. And then at the end of it, we ended up pretty much doing a movie review of the Zodiac movie because it's more than likely that Michael Aquino and the Satanic Church were very heavily involved with the Zodiac killings.
What?
And so, yeah, dude, really involved.
Well,
It's
that
crazy.
gets into everyone's like, oh, Jack the Ripper was this Polish Jewish immigrant. And you're like, or was it a secret society just sacrificing
satanic
people?
Yeah, satanic cult. And that's what they kind of said in the beginning of the Sherlock Holmes movie. The Hollywood does this thing where they'll always Easter egg the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you have in the beginning like a satanic cult kind of setting where they go to their first murder, kind of indicating that there was some kind of satanic aspect.
So get into this Aquino Zodiac killer stuff. What do you know about it?
All right. So when you watch the movie, it starts off with, and I got into this because I've seen some stuff on X about it. And actually, there's this really good guy people could go check out. His name's Rocket Cody. And you could type Rocket Cody, Aquino, Zodiac, and you'll find this guy's webpage, and he details everything. And so, like, for instance, Son of Sam.
Rocket Cody. Yeah. Can you spell Aquino for
I got it. I know
Savior? Okay,
yeah, Aquino Zodiac. And you'll pull up, like, a crazy webpage. But it should say something about his theory about Aquino being the killer. But anyway, in the movie, let's get to the movie why he does that. You have a red Mustang in the first scene where they get killed in the car. Well, you can find a video where Aquino literally had a white Mustang that he painted cherry red, and it was the same year. And so there's one oddity. And then later on, they talk about, is it possible that this is like a satanic cult that's doing these killings in the movie? And a little bit later, there's a instance where they say, this killer must be he took some library books from the Presidio Library, which is weird because if you know anything about Michael Aquino, the huge scandal around him is the Presidio case. That's that whole, daycare tunnels, like the Presidio military base that had the kids that were getting touched, doing satanic rituals. Do you guys recall about that?
No.
Okay, so the Presidio case is like tied in with this satanic cult ritual abuse that was going on at this military base. And Michael Aquino has ties to Huachuca as well, just like Erica Kirk. But this military base had kids that were claiming that they were involved in ritual abuses. And then he got indicted and ended up getting it thrown out because it was in military court. But he did get indicted on like a civil case and have to pay out or something. It's a whole thing. But essentially, this guy was doing satanic ritual abuses with children. Just like Epstein, he's involved with the Franklin scandal. He's connected to Iran-Contra. You have this weird crossover because Epstein bought the Iran-Contra plane as well. And then, like, the Franklin scandal is connected to Aquino. But Roy Cohn had a birthday party thrown for him by the Franklin scandal people.
Jesus.
And then we have the clear connection with Epstein and Iran-Contra. So, like, they all kind of come together, right? And I call it a global elite satanic pedophile ring. And we talked about it before, I think last time I was on. But this is a part of all that, right? And so anyway, going back to the Zodiac movie, why would they add in the Presidio library if this wasn't in the investigation in real life? Unless they were trying to kind of, Easter egg some truths. Another aspect to this is that the theory is that there's more than one killer. And there's 3 different cars that get shown whenever the Zodiac killer comes in the movie, almost indicating that there is more than one killer. And now finally, at the very end, there's a man, it's kind of crazy. He looks just like Kenneth Anger. If you know who Kenneth Anger is, he made a movie with Crowley. Him and Crowley made a movie called Lucifer Rising. And in that movie, you had a UFO over the Sphinx, and they said, the gods are going to come back and present themselves as this.
Yes.
Yes, dude. Dude, Kenneth Anger looks just like this guy in the movie. At the end of the movie, you had Ryan Gosling or Jake Gyllenhaal, whatever his name is.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes. He goes to the basement with him. And in the basement, mind you, Kenneth Anger is a big movie guy. He makes movies. So he goes to the basement with this guy, and there's just movies everywhere, a bunch of movie roles. And he's trying to show him a movie called Scorpio Killer, which is funny because he had a movie called like Scorpio Rising or Killer Rising or something very similar where they're playing with the words. And so there's a lot of weird oddities that seem to connect. And when you add in this Rocket Cody's theory, it all comes together as like, oh yeah, these guys at Hollywood knew that he was connected to all this. I mean, he literally met Anton LaVey at the Rosemary's Baby screening. And then you have the Process Church connection with the killing of, Sharon Tate. And Roman Polanski can't even come back in the country because he did so many things to kids, right? So, again, with this connection, right?
So my question to you is, what do you think Jeffrey Epstein is dead?
Oh, dude, I don't know. There's a lot of evidence that body that they took out of there, well, actually, they said that they faked the body.
They said they faked the body.
I mean,
conspiracy theorist again.
Mm-hmm. ExposureGate. It all gets into that, doesn't it? And then you had the Knicks game where what is his name? Palm Beach Pete was there with Timothy Chalamet, and Palm Beach Pete's wearing white and Israel blue shoes.
And then there's that video of like a drone footage of the island, and it kind of looks like him where he kind of leans in forward.
He's leaning.
Yeah, and it looks like an old man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an ATV or something like that, like an off-road
I think
car.
they just took out a piece of his jaw to make his mouth smaller.
Yeah. It looks more like him in that drone picture than the autopsy photo looks like him. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Well,
But
crazy.
when the government says you're dead, and it's all over the media, if you tell anybody that person's dead, you sound like a crazy person. Because at the end of the day, how are you gonna?
If they're alive.
Yeah, if they're alive, you sound like a crazy person. Oh, I saw Jeffrey Epstein in whatever country you want to put anywhere. You can be like, you're crazy, dude. CNN, Fox said there's a body. Like, he can literally be out there. No one's gonna believe anybody unless we finally actually get him arrested and we bring him in.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny you said that because Sean Ryan's newest episode details all the evidence that there is that Epstein is alive still. And there's a lot of very good evidence. If you go listen to that newest episode, he interviewed 2 guys. The first part was about a guy that went to Epstein Island and got arrested and kidnapped. And then the second part is about this guy who's been studying whether he's dead or not. And that half is really good with information about him being alive.
Well, as I'm listening to you talk, I'm like, this guy's so powerful. There's no way they would kill him in prison. There's no way, man. Especially when you see like how his conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, is being treated, moved to a nicer jail if she's even in there. And then we get this picture of some Filipino woman who's supposed to look like Ghislaine and Maxwell in her mugshot. Doesn't even look like her.
And now that I think about it, maybe that's why she hasn't snitched, because they're telling her, look, Jeffrey's alive. Just give us some time. Give us some time.
I don't even think it goes to that, dude.
No?
I think they're just like, dude,
You don't snitch. Yeah,
she's not going to snitch. She's so powerful, dude.
They're in Valhalla with Charlie.
Everyone's like, oh, dude, the Clintons offed him. It's like, dude, the Clintons aren't above Epstein.
I think Trump offed him.
You think
if he got offed at all? I think if he's dead, Trump had that shit happen.
But the question is, if he's in on all this, Trump, why is he the one that kicks off the investigation? If he's in
if you kick it off, you can control it. If somebody else kicks it off, then it's not your investigation.
Think about it. He kicked it off with an old investigation.
Yeah.
Since when can you re-indict somebody? What about double jeopardy?
Totally.
So,
yeah, it's
again,
all that flourish,
totally side skirts any kind of logic, but it makes sense if you think about Trump. And what does he do? Hillary Clinton, she'd be in jail. He blames Clinton for everything. He blames Biden for everything. The whole Clinton being Clinton body count coming out came out through the QAnon situation. What did I say about QAnon? That's from Steve Bannon, Epstein, this whole group trying to galvanize people behind Trump. So if that's the case, he knew that people would believe his whole thing about Hillary because he's in charge. General Michael Flynn, who's very close with Trump, is literally the QAnon guy. Like, he's admitted that he's involved in QAnon. And that's where that kind of came out of.
A former intelligence spook.
And he's got connections with Ian Carroll. And we were talking about Skull and Bones. What time did Ian Carroll take that picture of that red bracelet? I'm trying to remember. I think it was like 2:30. I think it was like the Skull and Bones time. I don't know, 2:33 or 3:22. So just saying. It's kind of crazy whenever you start putting all that together. Whenever you're considering this aspect to ExposureGate and that they're trying to do this on purpose, I start questioning the people telling me about the truth.
It's very weird because Ian Carroll used to be everywhere. And now I don't see him nearly as much as I used to.
He stopped. He used to go live every Friday. He used to call it Freedom Fridays. And he'd go for 3-4 hours. And he'd had a good, decent amount of people watching. And he just, like you said, took some time off. He said he was sick for a little bit. Some immune disease. And he just kind of just...
Everyone's got AIDS, dude. I was watching this other guy. You're like, I got autoimmune deficiency. I'm like, so you have AIDS? Okay, why are you trying to label it?
That's what it.
Why are you trying to label it something that it isn't? You have AIDS.
Did you see Justin Bieber? Somebody was saying that he might have AIDS or something.
Yeah, but it's probably from the fucking shot.
Yeah, because what is that, right? Because it's like, if you go back to that, the whole theory behind that is it was made by the Fauci situation. It was kind of made in a lab possibly, or at least they figured out something to get people in autoimmune. And it matches Lyme disease and COVID very closely if you look at the overall kind of what it does to you in a weird way.
So how does the next, very enlightening episode, how does the next couple years play out for you in your mind if it goes along the way that you think it's going to go? What do you think? Oh, no, before we get into that, we'll wrap up on that. The Israel-Iran war, is it real? Because, they're like, Iran just bombed northern Israel. What's in northern Israel? What is there? What are they bombing? Because this is something Andrew Tate said. He's like, it's a fake war. They're just hitting empty places. And then you got Trump going, hey, man, here's $300 billion. That's a fucking weird-ass play, dude.
And most don't know that Iran's been making more money on oil since the war started than before.
And you get into this new world.
It's a mutually beneficial thing for everybody.
100%. And then you get into the new world order. Why would Iran not want to be a part of that new world order? Why wouldn't they want to see at the table? Why wouldn't Russia? I mean, all this stuff's coming out like the selling of Putin as the guy fighting the deep state. You know, we had Susan Bradford on who says he's the banker for the Rothschilds. That's where they hide their money, is in Russia, because it's kind of outside the system.
Yeah. And then, of course, like I was saying, Putin's brain, who, by the way, Dugan's a Crowley follower and he's a theosophist, but he calls himself a Eastern Orthodox Christian, which is really important because I think they're going to hijack Christianity and merge it with this one world religion via the traditionalist movement in this theosophical kind of aspect. With this Eastern Orthodox Christian church, which, by the way, Candace just goes there. She talks about how Russia is a Christian nation. It's more superior to America in all these different ways. And the whole concept behind a lot of these philosophers, if you look them up, that were involved with the traditionalist movement, is they wanted to merge Islam with the church. And so when you look at Iran and the fact that I mentioned that there's Muslims that are involved with this color revolution, posing as white Christian males in America, but the whole purpose is to tell them about how Islam really matches Christianity, and they all venerate Mary, and they all are actually the same thing. So they can merge all that together, and that's really a part of this overarching plan. Israel, you know, at the end of the day, has the same theosophical, Freemasonic, ideological outlook on things. So even though they're opposing forces, perceivably they're not.
I don't think they are.
No, they're not.
I think if there's going to be a giant sorcery system, Iran wants in.
Yeah.
Russia wants in. They all want in. They all want a seat at the table. They all want to be part. They all want to sit at the table called the New World Order. And they're all playing games. And, you know, it's like something Ron Placone said. I don't necessarily agree with everything Ron Placone believes politically, which is okay. I think he's a great guy. But he said something on Jimmy Dore back when he was on it. He was like, you know, oligarchies help oligarchies.
Yes.
It's mutually beneficial if the people of Iran hate Israel and the people of Israel hate Iran, but the two people are working together. And it's just like when there is a if and when there is a greater Israel, which they want to be the center of power, why wouldn't Iran want to be in on it?
Yeah. And Bill Cooper said Israel was created to bring about the Armageddon that will usher in totalitarian, socialist, one world government, which totalitarian is the technocratic aspect. The socialist aspect is the tokenization of everything. You own nothing and you're happy. And of course, the totalitarian aspect would be the fact you have to meet conditions in order to get money. And then one world government. There we are, right? So that's the system that we're talking about. So yeah, I think it's culminating and it's coming soon. Now, the question is, which side kind of wins? You know, does the Zionist side win with their police state? Or does the anti-Zionist side win, which eats itself? At the end of the day, it eats itself. Because there's people like Myron Gaines that are championing this movement. But when it wins, they're going to kick Myron Gaines out. He's not white. So it's like, it eats itself, dude. That's why.
Well, you already see that with all the infighting with the anti-Zionist movement. He's a Fed, he's a Fed, he's a Jew, he's a Jew.
And what did the Bolsheviks do? They ate itself. It ate itself. They all, no honor amongst thieves. When they get power, they're killing each other.
That's California, dude. Just no honor amongst thieves. They just don't care. And they're all worshiping a dying system. Hollywood's dying in LA. All the good stuff's being made outside of LA. But there's so many rich kids here. They just don't care. They just don't care. And it's like, you know, it's just so crazy to watch in real time.
Yeah.
It's just
all the books written about this has been written by aristocratic Nepo babies all the way since the 1800s, talking about their vision of a one world, you know, nice utopian state where you have the priest class running everything, but everybody's happy.
It's like when you're born into a world where you'll never worry about food, clothing, and shelter, you're allowed to fantasize about crazy shit.
Yeah.
And that becomes your identity. That's why, like, again, it's laughable that this many people did mail-in ballots in LA when this is their entire fucking identity. You don't
However, biometric ID systems are not the best way to go either, right?
Neither one's neither's
physical
a good
ID. Yeah.
Neither's good.
Yeah,
I mean,
like physical ID, the physical ID system we have, That could work.
They didn't even want him. They didn't even want your ID. You weren't just saying that you went up there.
I kept trying to shove it in their face.
But that's to justify. That's to justify the biometric ID they want you to take. See, look, it doesn't work. We need IDs, and then it turns into you got to have your biometric one because not everybody can afford a physical one. You know, just
the first step is to get so no one trusts their politicians, which is and that's where they're going to roll in AI.
Yeah.
Hey man, we can't trust these people. They're all scumbags. Let's get AI in. And then AI is complete. It's like, get ready for a world where you call customer service, but this is everywhere, and you can't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Get ready for that.
Or the worse, the world where you can't tell you're not talking to somebody. That's the one. Because, now you can get a human and kind of reason with them and rationalize and maybe get them to have some sympathy on you, like with insurance claims and those kinds of things. AI is never going to be, it's none of that. And you won't be able to tell you're even talking to it. It's gotten pretty good now. A couple years from now, you won't know the difference.
A great example, like last night, I was making a doom scrolling thumbnail, and I wanted to update the picture of Pamela Anderson, so it was more like modern than it was from whenever that was on the 90s, right? Yeah. And ChatGPT kept telling me this is bullying. And I'm like, explain how this is bullying to me.
Ageism by ChatGPT.
It was just like it just really couldn't do it. It's so that's what you're going to run into.
What'd you say? I want to make her uglier.
No, I just want to make her shinier because it was an old picture. I wanted to update it so it was,
I see what you're saying. You're not even. I thought you were trying to age her.
I wanted it to look like Pamela Anderson if she was at her peak in 2026.
I got you.
And it just could not comprehend it.
Yeah, I can barely.
Couldn't comprehend it. It was just, this is bullying. This breaks our guideline. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you can kind of. It's funny because maybe this is contrary to what I was saying, but you can kind of reason with it on the breaking its own. Sometimes it'll be like, yeah, actually, you're right. I'm not breaking our own policies, and I'll do this thing, which is.
I've done that for some.
Yeah, it's funny, right?
When I was researching the North Fox Island, I had that issue where I was like, and this was like a year ago. Whenever I first started doing this show, and I was using a little bit of AI to kind of get some research, and I realized that you're going to get lies, you're going to get bullshit. So I was like, well, it looks like I'm going to have to get back to researching like normal because AI just doesn't quite give you what you want, and sometimes when it does, it'll lie. So I'll find out later when I'm talking about something. And then somebody goes, yo, is that true? And I'll go try to verify it, and it's not even true. So then I look like an asshole.
Yeah.
That's called.
So I'm like, I'm not
Sam
doing
Tripoli.
that.
That's just my life.
That's the dark enlightenment, dude.
Yeah, that's where we're at, dude. Great episode. Great. Okay, last question. Where do you see us in 5 years?
If everything works out, I see us with a AI biometric ID system
in 5 years,
fully rolled out. Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, I don't think. I think right now all the chaos you see is because it's the growing pains to get us there, like ASAP. Like we're not looking at. I mean, the technology's there. 6G, 5G. First of all, 5G already can kind of get it done already as it is. All they need to do is build up more infrastructure. That's what the data centers are. When they enter 6G. It's pretty much a done deal unless people realize in between now and then that this is a surveillance state being built. Those data centers, what they are and everything, and the predictive policing coming out through Palantir and the Gotham systems. People, if they get wise to all this, we might have a chance. But with the destruction of the dollar, it might lead to a place where you don't really have a choice. Like you're going to be an impoverished nation unless you choose to join this crypto digital currency system because we've destroyed your dollar. So America as we know it, either way, won't, I think, be the same after after that time. I just don't know what it looks like. Hopefully it's a analog communal system rather than a global technocratic system. Because that's kind of our choice, is a kind of local community, more analog, more like, connected with each other in a local level. And because our dollar is not going to be the trade value of the world, right? So we're going to have to readjust. Otherwise, we're going to have to accept this technocratic, global police state.
where do you think precious metals falls into the tech
So the way I see the, I'm not some like perfect precious metals predictionist, but I do think that this has got some weight to it. I think right now, great time to get into it. It's obviously you're going to lose money after a little bit because when this system takes place, I think all the elites that have all the gold are going to just open the safes and flood the system to where your gold is worth way less than what it was before this system comes out. But if you hold on to it, I think it's going to counterbalance itself back into normal. But in the beginning, they're going to be like, we need people to think their gold is worth shit. So take all this gold we've hoarded and flood the stocks with it. So that way everybody's gold that they've hoarded isn't worth shit and they have to give into this digital currency system. But if you're smart, hold on to it because, you can make that work. So I don't know. That's kind of my thought with that.
It's going to be interesting, dude. Buckle up, Buttercup. Andrew, great show, dude. Great show. I love it, dude. Some people can get lost and it's like, I'm telling you, man, get off Twitter, dude.
Yeah.
Get off. Unless you need it to fucking promote shit for work, get off Twitter. Those endorphin hits you're hitting, dopamine hits, excuse me. Dude, it's not good for you. It's just not good for you. I have to be on there because I have to promote shit. But get off Twitter, dude. It is it's a trauma deliverance system. It's astroturfing culture wars. Like, get off it, dude. And it's just, again, with the, hating of the Zionists and the Jews, it's like, this is all part of the game, dude. This is all part of the game. Now, are there reasons to be upset with Israel? 100%. But the reason nothing's happened to Israel is because they're doing the bidding of the Bank of England, which they want Babylon. They need this to happen, and they don't care how many people have to die to get there.
Yeah, you've been calling that for a while. You've definitely been on point with that aspect.
It's fucking nuts. Andrew, I'm so glad we could make it happen. One more time, tell them where they can find you.
Same here. Thank you very much. You can find me everywhere. 6G Agenda. That's where you can find us on YouTube. We got our free feed on Spotify and everything. But Patreon, we got early access. You could get ad-free, all that good stuff. Otherwise, we'll see you around. Thank you so much. XG, Johnny, Sam. It's awesome seeing you guys, and I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Congratulations. Glad we had you on. This is fucking great. You're the episode right before the big 1,000, dude. So,
dude, I was pretty excited about that.
999. Good for you, dude. Love
Triple
it.
nines, baby.
You crushed it, dude. Great episode. Let's break down the episode. All right, what'd you guys think of Andrew Clinton?
A good one. He hasn't been on in a while.
He hasn't been in a while.
Got predictions.
He,
Yeah, that would be something. Huh? If that UFO,
Right.
If a UFO goes over UFC, because it's like this, I don't know, some chick from Brazil, some psychic is like, June 24th, a UFO will fly over a giant sporting event, which probably would be a FIFA. But what if it's the UFC event? I would laugh my ass off.
I mean, I guarantee there's gonna be someone looking at the stars the whole time. I'd be looking, like, trying to keep my eyes on both the sky and the fight.
It's a little on the nose, isn't it? Like, you got Disclosure Day and the UFC with a UFO. Like,
I mean, she can't miss. That girl, there's gonna be some lights in one of these events, and she's gonna be I called it, guys.
I was off by 2 weeks.
Yeah, because it's FIFA. How many games are in the FIFA game? There's gonna be what? It's a whole
World
month
Cup?
of soccer.
Yeah.
Imagine if they did
least-
during the championship when 1 billion people are watching.
The final? Yeah, that would be crazy.
Project
I love when
Bluebeam?
everyone's like, the UFC, the Super Bowl is the biggest event in humanity. You're like, it's not even close.
Oh, you're
No,
so
it's
rad.
not.
Project Bluebeam during the World Cup.
Yeah.
You're watching it. Aliens come in. They fucking
They grab a couple fucking hot
Cristiano and
chicks
Messi
from-
too. They bring the goats up.
They should
So
have
have
a-
you heard the theory they're going to rig the World Cup for Cristiano because he's coming to the end? They want him to get his
Messi
cup.
or Ronaldo?
No, Messi already got his.
to get him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't
Guys, go
think
to
Portugal is
samtripoli.com. We got the nope, go up. Going to be this tonight. I'll be in Albuquerque. Please, somebody buy a ticket. I accidentally booked 2 openers. I got a feature coming. I got a full show for you. I don't mind it because I only want to do short amounts. I'm going to do like 45 minutes, because I'm working new shit. I gotta go. I got some new funny stuff. It's coming, dude. It's coming. It's gonna be a good one. I can't wait till my special drops and everyone just thinks I'm nuts.
When's the date? When do you think?
I don't know. I gotta go over. I'll do it this weekend. I gotta cut 10 minutes out. Should I keep the M word in?
You gotta.
You got it, dude. You can't tell them you're gonna hit
I mean,
them
if
with it.
they don't get mad at that, the retard bit's gonna piss everybody off.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you do bring the N word out next time.
Nah, just go hard in the paint.
Just bring them both.
Yeah, why not? Let everybody fucking
Yeah,
just feel it. I mean, it crushed.
But if you wait, it'll be safe, dangerous by then.
Yeah, let's do dangerous. Let's go hard and paint. I'm not calling anyone the M word except for myself.
Yeah. Why not? No, I love it. That's just I wanted to get its day in the sun.
It's
you know?
never gonna get a day in the sun ever.
Yeah.
Nothing I do will get a day in the sun. I'm not allowed.
That's too bad.
I'm only allowed to stay inside. I'm a bubble boy. Don't go outside, you'll die. What am I, a vampire? If I see sunlight, I die.
It's that movie.
Albuquerque, the 1,000th episode. Guys, I'm working on a meetup. I just got to find somewhere. It's
A meetup.
We'll hang. We're gonna hang.
where we're all going to hang.
On Friday,
it's
yeah.
so fucking, it's everything is work. Miami, I got added a show. Joke World. Lawrence, Kansas. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Dallas for TrutherCon. Skankfest. Austin. All my get on my mailing list, by the way. Get on my mailing list. I'm going to start telling you when the live streams are that week. Put up a bunch of premium content over the week. Very excited about that. Go down. Cash Daddies talk about, Johnny.
Yeah, it's a place where you can learn about.
Where everybody knows your name.
Or
We're
that,
over 1,800, whatever that
Nice.
means.
Numbers.
Whatever that means.
Numbers. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a place where you can learn about Wall Street and finance and stocks and bonds, and you can save for your.
Hey, look at
retirement.
this one. Look at this. Is that
Educate.
telling? Is that
Well,
giving
that's
it?
selling at least.
Okay.
Maybe he didn't share the buy.
Okay. Go check out patreon.com/cash daddies. Go all the way down. New t-shirt alert. New t-shirt alert. New t-shirt alert. Bang. Look at that.
Sir AAA Bacon.
Sir Triple A Bacon, everybody.
Dude, I can see someone wearing this and then be like, "Is that Shakespeare?" Or they're trying to
Is
figure
that the
out
guy?
who this
Is that the guy who wrote Shakespeare
You
and
boned it, dude. I love
created
that.
the Freemasons? Is that the guy?
You took it
Yeah,
back.
that is the guy. That's totally. You can see him do dick jokes in Albuquerque this weekend.
$16 T-shirts, people, go get them. Look at
Get
that.
your t-shirts. Go back. Go back. Okay, gold and silver. Grab it now. Come on, WiseWolf, gold and silver. Chemical-free body. I love it. I take it every day. EMF rocks. What do you guys got?
I'm on. Go to Brave Supreme and go check out my podcast, XG Marks the Spot. I'm going to do a FIFA little vlog for the Mexico game.
Are you going to any games?
Yeah, I mean, not inside. I'm not as privileged as Johnny is, but I'm going to be standing outside like a
Yeah,
Mexican.
Johnny's pretty privileged.
Yeah, he's going to the USA game this Friday.
I got a good deal.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, yeah.
Johnny's just living his best life.
I'm just I'm very frugal.
What's the prediction? Because this will come out after.
Probably 2-1 for Paraguay.
Really?
Yeah, 2-1. No. I mean for that game, I think the U.S. will win.
Yeah, they won. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
they
2-1.
have to. They're
Yeah.
home team.
What
Yeah,
do you mean?
I think they're
2-1
gonna
for Paraguay.
No,
No.
for the game. I think they're gonna. I was confused. I said that like a retard. I think they're gonna. The U.S. will win 2-1.
Okay.
I could see it being a draw, which would really f them up. But I just think with the crowd and everything, it's gonna. And they've actually looked pretty good the last couple of friendlies. They should have beaten Germany, and then they look good the week
How
before.
bad does Europe cry or Latin America when we beat them?
Yeah,
It's like our
they
fifth
don't love
sport.
it.
They're
Yeah.
like, oh.
It's also like they hate it because it's a lot of the U.S. player base is immigrant population, from those countries, and they kind of look down on them like man, why aren't you playing?
Oh, you
down
mean
here?
the way the hot American is for China? That treasonous bitch.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go to World War Debate, we're setting the date now. It's going to be in either Nashville or.
Wait, so you did some of the contender stuff?
Yeah, I hosted a debate.
How was it?
It's fun, dude. It's going to be a good time.
That's cool, man.
I'm very excited. 32 people going at it.
Will that be out somewhere?
Yep, we're just finishing up the first round.
Okay. And then it'll come out all at once.
Yeah, bang, bang, bang. And then the winners are on the first debate.
That's cool, man.
The next World War debate, which is either going to be Nashville or Miami. We're deciding that now, looking like August or September. So we're very excited about that. I know I am. And if you go to Sam Tripoli, if you go to youtube.com/Sam Tripoli, you can check out all of I got another crowd work special coming out soon. So put it out soon. Enjoy it. Just talking mad shit.
Enjoy.
Anything else, Johnny? Did I ask you?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I thought it was a great episode.
Well, maybe not. Broken Sim. Listen to that, please.
Yeah, listen to Broken Sim. It's pretty funny. It's been on fire lately, I think.
We've been doing well.
We've been doing well.
People have been listening.
People are like, dude, your numbers are going down because you suck. I go, that's possible.
Our numbers are not going down, though. That's the thing.
Our numbers are decent. I mean, like two of my shows,
they've
the
gone
numbers
up.
keep going up. You know, this Broken Sim. I mean, Tinfoil Hat's going up, but it's super slow.
And it's been 10 years. I mean, who hasn't heard an episode of Tinfoil Hat?
Yeah, I mean, that's
let's be
it.
for
You're
real.
an old show, dude. Yeah. There's new guys coming in with new fun energy, making new discoveries. So it's like, that's just the way it is, dude. Nothing lasts forever. And we've retained most of our viewership.
I mean, not that we're up there, but like how much do you think Rogan grows?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of...
you can't grow in everybody's. You already have every listener.
It's like you got it.
We're going to evolve the show this year, I think, after the 1,000th. Right?
Yeah, we want to make some decisions on what we'd like to do a little different, to mix it up, to make it fun. Should we just bring in, just have a room full of hot chicks talking conspiracies, and I just tell them they're all whores?
Dunk on them, yeah. Just
You
dunk
fucking
on-
whore.
Yeah, we should bring them in and be like, so what do you think happened on 9/11? 9/11? What?
Porn
That
stars?
would be the funniest show ever. Just us OnlyFans talking conspiracies.
I love it, yeah.
Okay, who do you think shot JFK? You're a whore.
I just think, what was it? Lee something?
But they have to
You
do
dumb
research.
bitch.
They got to
No,
do research
none.
before, the night
No,
before.
no,
just
no.
straight.
None.
No. You don't understand
Oh.
the concept of this show, clearly.
Or we every conspiracy, we run a 3-minute clip trying to show basically breaking it down, and then we ask them what they think. And then I just call them whores.
You ask them first, then you show the clip, and then you quiz them on the clip. That's what it is. And see if they've retained any of it.
The funny thing is they're going to have
Welcome
more
to Conspiracy Smoke Shows. We talk to OnlyFans about
I like the name
conspiracies.
already. I'm in for the name.
conspiracy smoke shows. I'm watching.
I could get that show done tomorrow.
It would be so funny. Dude.
I would get that show done
Just talking
tomorrow.
And occasionally you're gonna have a hot chick who's like really into
Johnny,
conspiracies.
should we turn the old studio into Conspiracy Smoke Show? And this area where we go to are like, hey, dude, why are all these like hot chicks coming in here? We're running a show.
Yeah.
That's a good rad, though.
What?
The red, it would be a good background
Yeah,
red for
yeah.
the strippers. Give it like
We
stripper
should do
vibes.
that like once a month. Just see what OnlyFans models we can get to come on and just break down conspiracies for them.
Conspiracy. Just blast them with conspiracies.
You're a whore.
Conspiracy bukkake.
Welcome to Conspiracy Bukkake. And we got to dot every word on the YouTube channel.
Oh, mercy.
That would be the funniest show. Countdown to somebody steals that.
We already have a casting couch in there, too, in the studio. It's never
All
been
right,
on camera.
it's in, dude.
Oh, that is a casting
That's
couch
our
vibe.
next
It's
show.
100% that same
And
couch.
Tinfoil
that they
Hat
use in
is
those
over.
videos.
We've stopped it. Join us on our new show.
Conspiracy bukkake, a.k.a. Conspiracy Smoke Shows. Would you like to participate? Find me on Instagram.
Yeah, if you have OnlyFans, you want your numbers to explode, come on the show.
You will get new viewers.
You will literally get a
You
new
will.
viewer called Sam Tripoli.
No, that's why they do the show. They just get it's a humiliation ritual.
Oh, for those,
I have
yeah.
to light them up. What are you, stupid?
You would never do that.
I could.
You couldn't.
We have to get
I
one
could.
bad guy on there,
I would
like
do
John
it.
Mitchell.
I'd be happy to do it.
Johnny, you would. Yeah, you would do it.
Oh, I'd be happy to. I'd be like, what the fuck
John-
are you talking about? Is all your brain?
We'll put him on the
Get
sound
sucked out with
effect.
that lipo?
And she's like, when do I get to sit at the table, dude? With all the chicks.
I figured I would be over there. I'd be like, you got to go to the back. and
Dude,
hang out.
you gotta get citizenship before you can sit here.
I know you guys would make me the mark of it. You can book him. Just fucking book him.
Dude, he would be a great his young youth
yeah.
look. Hey babe, he'd have his hair super gelled with his picture.
We could just send him out recruiting with business cards at his when he goes camping. You know,
Hey,
like,
you want to be on our show when we talk to OnlyFans models about conspiracies?
no, you don't say conspiracy. Though. You say political affairs. Is what you say.
About current topics.
Current events. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. We're talking about current topics.
So when does the new? Is that going to be 1001?
That'll be a show after the 1000th. Dana's like, you're starting a new show? Yeah, we're starting a new show.
It might be the best idea we've ever had.
Yeah,
honestly.
dude. We just got to get a table. We got to have like
They have
six
to come in.
OnlyFans models.
We're in the best city for dumb chicks. So
The only place better is Miami.
Oh, it's like what's that show? The Whatever podcast with those
Yeah,
girls.
we're basically doing.
we're
conspiracies
ripping
in
them
there.
off completely. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the whole idea.
we're ripping off whatever this is, or whatever, and they're ripping off Fresh and Fit.
And you need a weird hat to wear. What kind of weird hat?
I'll wear like a top
KKK
hat.
That would be cool.
I'll wear.
A black one though. A black pointy hat.
No, it's got like the Pope hat. That would
Bro,
be good.
did you see the latest episode?
Of what?
They had this episode with this like,
What show?
of Fresh and Fit. They
I've
had
never
this
seen an episode in my
Young
life.
black chick who was drunk talking
What is that?
shit.
Is that the one with that black guy?
That's
the two black guys?
What are their names?
Fresh and Fit.
Oh,
Myron Gaines
Myron
and
Gaines,
Walt or something. I think.
And dude, every
I
time
hate
the
it.
black chick talked, they did chimpanzee sounds, and I was just like, "Oh my god,
But
dude!"
only they could get away with that.
Right.
Like you say.
Right.
Which one was it? Was it the
them and
most?
Chelsea Handler apparently are the only ones can get away.
Yeah.
with.
Right. Okay, guys. I thought it was a great show. Andrew's always welcome back. We'll
time.
see if he's right about the UFC.